All right, let's talk about B2B SEO. If you think it's just a slight twist on the regular consumer SEO you see every day, well, you're in for a surprise. Honestly, it's a completely different game with a totally different rulebook. Getting this wrong means leaving a ton of money on the table. So let's break it down.
So let me ask you this. Is SEO a one-size-fits-all kind of strategy? The answer is a hard no. It's not even close, especially when you're trying to sell to other businesses. The entire playbook just flips from who you're talking to what a single click is even worth. And we're about to get into exactly why that is.
But hey, before we really dive into all the B2B specifics, let's just take a second to get on the same page. A quick refresher on the basics is going to lay the groundwork for everything we talk about next. At its heart, what is SEO really about? It's about making sure that when your perfect customer goes online looking for a solution, your business is the one they find. It's about cutting through all that digital noise and being the clear, obvious answer to their problem.
Okay, so SEO usually gets broken down into these three main pillars. Think of it like building a house, right? On-page SEO, that's the cool design and the furniture inside, the actual content. Off-page SEO, that's your reputation in the neighborhood, all the other credible sites linking to you, vouching for you. And technical SEO, well, that's the foundation. It's all the behind-the-scenes stuff that keeps the whole thing standing strong and loading fast.
All right, foundation's set. Now let's get to the real meat of it. The single biggest thing that separates B2B and B2C SEO is the customer's journey. And understanding this doesn't just tweak your strategy. It completely rewrites it from the ground up. Here's probably the easiest way to think about it. The B2C journey, it's a sprint. Somebody sees a pair of shoes they like, they click, they buy, boom, done. It's usually one person making a pretty quick, often emotional decision. The B2B journey, though, oh, that's a marathon. It's way more complex, it takes a long time, and you've got a whole team of people that all need to be convinced. And why is it such a marathon? Well, it's because the stakes are so much higher. I mean, we're not talking about a $50 pair of shoes here. We're talking about purchases that can cost thousands, sometimes even millions of dollars. No company is going to make that kind of investment on a whim. It requires layers and layers of research, approvals from different departments, and a whole lot of time. So, how in the world do you adapt to that? That's what's next. We're going to walk through 4 fundamental strategic shifts you absolutely have to make in your SEO to really connect with a business audience. Okay, shift number 1 is a biggie. You have to realize you're no longer talking to just one buyer. You are marketing to a committee. And every single person on that committee has a different job, different things they care about, and completely different questions that need answers. First up, you've got the practitioner. This is the person who's actually going to use your product or service every single day. Their main concern is totally practical. Is this thing high quality? Is it easy to use? Is it going to make my job easier or, heaven forbid, harder? Your content has to speak directly to those hands-on questions. Then you have the manager. Their focus isn't so much on usability. It's on the business impact. They're asking, what's the return on this investment? How is this going to save us money, make us more efficient, or, bring in more revenue? Your content needs to build a rock-solid business case for them. And finally, at the top, you've got the executive who gives that final thumbs up. They probably won't get into the nitty-gritty details, but they absolutely need to see how this purchase fits in with the company's biggest strategic goals. Your message has to connect to that huge 30,000-foot view. Now, because you're juggling that long journey and all those different people, our second shift becomes absolutely critical. A single landing page just isn't going to cut it. You need a whole library of content specifically designed to guide them through every single stage of their decision-making process. Just think about how their questions change over time. At the very beginning, it might be all about cost. Then it shifts to efficiency and how it'll integrate with their current systems. And finally, when they're getting really serious, they're focused on long-term value and scalability. You need to have the right content with the right answer waiting for them at every step. So how do you actually reach these expert buyers in the first place? Well, that brings us to our third big shift, your keyword strategy. In B2B, just chasing the search terms with the biggest numbers, that's a recipe for disaster. This quote right here really nails the B2B mindset. You are not trying to attract thousands of casual window shoppers. You are trying to attract a handful of highly qualified experts who know exactly what they're looking for. The value isn't in the sheer volume of the traffic, it's all about the quality. You see, it all comes down to expertise. B2B searchers use industry jargon because they live and breathe this stuff. They're specialists. They're not looking to click buy now. No, they're gathering detailed information to solve really complex problems. Your keyword strategy has to speak their language and match that deep dive intent. And that brings us to our fourth and final shift, which is all about building authority. In a world full of expert buyers, you can't just say you're the best. You have to prove it. Your credibility and their trust, that's everything. So how do you prove you're a credible expert? You build your authority off your website. When a respected industry publication links back to your content, what they're really doing is lending you their trust. And that is a massive signal, both to Google and to your potential customers, that you are an authoritative, reliable source of information. So, if you only take away one thing from all of this, let it be this. Successful B2B SEO is a fundamental mindset shift. You have to stop thinking about targeting a single buyer and start thinking about engaging an entire decision-making committee for the long haul. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about for your own work. Is your SEO built for a quick, one-off transaction, or is it designed to build the deep trust needed for a long-term partnership? Because in the B2B world, the answer to that question changes absolutely everything. Thanks for watching.